So, Real Life You, step one, was all about identifying your functional skills and your knowledge expertise. This is really about figuring out where your strengths and your knowledge is so that you can figure out how to apply that knowledge. Real Life You, step one, talks about the value, figuring out where your strengths are. Because if you know what you're good at, that's going to help you in the work world. Because in this competitive job market, you want to play to your strengths, not to your weaknesses. So knowing what you're strong at, knowing what your skill set is, your functional skills are, and knowing what your knowledge expertise is going to put you in really good stead. Now, having said that, we're going to go to Real Life You step two, and we're talking here about researching the job market. And this is really about finding out what you can do. Uh, what kinds of jobs are out there for someone with your background. Um, I want to mention a couple of things. Step one is really about finding out what you're interested in. Step two is really about finding out what's out there. Um, but you're at the 50,000-foot level here. You're not trying to find a job. You're just trying to figure out what kinds of occupations are out there that you might be interested in pursuing, finding out more about them. So enjoy this time to explore. When we get to Real Life You step three, we'll be much more down at the ground level, looking at different sectors and different types of employers. Right now, we're just sort of up at the 50,000-foot level, so enjoy your time there. It won't be long until we've got to land the plane. Okay, so having said that, I want to take you through a couple of sites that should be able to help you in figuring out what kind of jobs are out there for people with your academic background and with your interests. The first one I want to take you to is a site called workingincanada.gc.ca. And there's a couple of ways you can use this. This is a Government of Canada site, but by no means is this a government site. In other words, it's not about government jobs. There are all kinds of jobs on that site for people all across the country, and information about for people all across the country. The first thing you could do is search by job title and keyword or national classification code. If you go into the NOC, or the National Classification Code, what I want you to do is have a look at number 4, which is occupations in social science, education, and government service. And what you can do here is get a sense of what might be out there in terms of different categories of occupations. So there's economists, business development, social policy, health policy, education policy. There is something here about program officers unique to government. But there is a whole slew of things out there. So this is kind of interesting because this is not the definitive list of occupations, obviously, but if you are interested in any of the occupations on here, it's going to tell you what you need in order to get into that field. So let's take a look at health policy researchers, consultants, and program officers. And then once again, I should mention that we can really hone in by region here and by city. I'm going to click on Ottawa since that's my hometown. And here we are, health policy researchers working in Canada report. There's a video that you can look at, which will give you some background information about that occupation. There's a list of the main duties that a health policy researcher would be involved in, the job skills and requirements. The job outlook and prospects for that field over a 10-year period. There's also a job posting in the Ottawa area, which you can click on and find out more about. You can also look at the other job postings across the province. If you selected another province, Saskatchewan, for example, and then you selected Regina as your hometown, it'll give you both job opportunities in Regina under local job opportunities, and then it'll give you job opportunities in the surrounding region and the surrounding province. The other thing I want to do in terms of just taking you back to the Working in Canada site for a moment is to take you into the skills, knowledge, and interests section. This is kind of neat. What I want you to do here is have a look at the fact that the site marries skills and knowledge. What you do is check off your skills and knowledge. I've taken the liberty of doing so already. It's kind of like throwing skills, throwing different ingredients into a bowl. You push a button, and that's like mixing up the ingredients, and boom, here you go. You get a series of occupations. Again, these are just ideas. This is not the definitive answer to your job inquiry, but authors and writers is one of the occupations that comes up for someone with the skill set that I selected and the knowledge area that I selected. If you go into the province of Ontario, go into the Ottawa region, again, I'm selecting my own hometown here. Again, you're going to have a fairly good list, explanation of what the job duties are, what the job postings are, etc., etc. So it's I would say, a pretty handy tool. Again, giving you an idea of what the job opportunities are in Ontario, where people in this occupation find jobs, percentage of self-employed, the wages, and the national employment prospects. It's pretty full document. I also think this is kind of a neat section here, essential skills. This will give you an idea of what kind of skills are essential for writers and authors. And these are functional skills that you can use. This will help you in your CV if you have some of these skills to borrow some of the writing, to refer to some of the writing in explaining what you're good at. Okay, so I want to take you to one other site, and that is Career Cruising. If you click on the Career Cruising link, get the password from your university or college, or there is a free 30-day trial link on my website, on the Real Life U website. In terms of careers, just very quickly, you can go into career. You can search by cluster. Actually, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to take you in by, okay, well, let's do it that way. We'll go into law and government. And I had looked earlier and chose the area of lobbyist. So I'm just hoping that one's there. There we go, lobbyist. Okay, so you go into lobbyist, you get a whole sense, sort of at a glance, what the core tasks are, what's in the workplace, what the earnings are. You can look at a sample career path. So if you went in at the entry level and then worked your way up, what that would look like. You can find out what a pretty detailed job description is of a lobbyist. You can look at what Brian and Pam, that is some sort of sample people, are doing in that area. So two people who are in that career, in that industry, what are they doing? What are their likes? What are their dislikes? What does a day in the life look like for a lobbyist? And what's a breakdown of the activities? That's kind of a neat section, because if you like working with numbers, that might not be a job for you. Again, if you know your skills and interests, that's going to help you in Real Life U Step 2. If you love travel, and you see that there's no travel involved, you might decide that that's not the area for you. So have a look at this site, at Career Cruising, and try to go through maybe 3 or 4 different job types and see what you think might be the most interesting for you. So that's Real Life U Step 2. At this stage, you're at the 50,000 foot level. You're just trying to get a sense of what kinds of jobs might be out there for someone with your interests. And once you've gone through that exercise, what I'm going to suggest you do is try to identify 3 or 4 or even 5 areas that you might be interested in. Maybe print out some job descriptions, get a sense of what the market is like, and then you're going to start to look at what kind of, and maybe some sample job descriptions. And then we'll go to Real Life U Step 3, which is going from the 50,000 foot view down to ground level. So that will be our next step.